Check this.
Lee, I know you were expecting a hockey game tonight, but I really wanted to bring you something that's completely different. Although it's on ice, it is players, but it's ice dancing.
You know what?
Just check it out.
And you said, wear your hockey jersey.
Watch it. He's on the ice. Watch it. He's going around. He's going around the boards right now. He's going around. He catches up. Oh, he crashed. Oh, my God. But that's perfect. That's just like hockey. It's great.
You know what? It's not like hockey, because that guy is wearing sequins, man.
Lee,
That's not hockey.
Lee, you need more joy in your life.
No, I
That's why
don't.
I came to ice dancing.
Oh.
Joy, more joy in your life. You got to go to the MoreJoyRadio.com.
I want to see people hit each other, and you know what? You can't even get beer here.
I know, but this is all about joy. We brought you to ice dancing for joy, just like LMB show. MoreJoyRadio.com. They click on the LMB show, and they listen to us on Friday nights. That's joy.
All right. Well, you know what? I think that's a good idea, and I'll just try to be more joyful. But again, no hot dogs, no popcorn. They don't have none of that stuff here.
I'll buy you some. Click, connect, listen. LMB show.
Hello there, my fellow Novanians. Yes, if you're from Northern Virginia, we want you to know that there is now a radio station just for you with all the events, all the information going on in Northern Virginia. We have a radio station that is dedicated to Novanians and all of Nova. It's MoreJoy Radio. MoreJoy Radio. It's your answer to the best music, the most positive, most fun, and most good music, most good, on the air. MoreJoy Radio. We're on the internet. All you have to do is go to morejoyradio.com and you can listen. You can listen to MoreJoy Radio anytime you want. Would you run out of flowers?
I've been talking and you haven't heard me. All right, that's one of the things I was trying to check and get straight. Anyway, got the microphone in front of me. Lisa and her beautifulness will be along with us, and her mighty mind will be along with us here momentarily. You have reached MoreJoy Presents. MoreJoy Media presents Love Hacks, if you didn't know already. And so Lisa should be along. Tonight we're going to be talking about marriage and the best ways to keep your marriage going. We're going to base this on a article from Good Housekeeping. And it's 45 different couples who've been married for an extended period of time. And what it is that they have found is one of their key ingredients to a great wedding, a great marriage, rather. I don't know how the wedding went. Wedding may have been a disaster, but the marriage has gone on well. And, I'm speaking, I can speak from my experience, my marriage as well. And I've got a beautiful wife who takes such good care of me. I try to take care of her. I always feel like I fall a little short, but she seems to be on it with me. So that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to see that when she and I get together and we enjoy each other's company. There's no question about that. So I'm going to read a couple of these things from our friend Lisa sent me these good housekeeping, and it's the title of the show, or the title of the article in Good Housekeeping magazine. And if you go to goodhousekeeping.com and look for 45 longtime couples share the marriage tip that's kept them together. There's a reason or two that these couples have made it long. No marriage is perfect. So whether you've been married 3 years or 13 years, honestly, empathy and apparently a little texting goes a long way in the relationship. That's what they're saying here. So there's 45 happy couples, and we're going to read a few of them for these things. You ready? Say these 3 words every day, and they're not, I love you. Whenever we're working on something, we make it a point to ask the other person, can I help you? Or can I help? That's 3 words. It's so simple, but often people assume that their spouse will automatically know what they need. You have to say it. It's hard to stay resentful or feel resentful towards the other if you start the conversation with those words. Now, that's Mike and Colleen Dollar. They've been married for 14 years from LaGrange, Georgia. Have your own hobbies. That's an outstanding piece of advice, if you ask me. Tess and John Homan say, we've discovered it's important to have independent hobbies and the freedom to do them without pressure or guilt from your spouse. They've been married 22 years. In 22 years they've been married. So, and look at that. Who's here? It's Amy, beat Lisa. Girl, I've been trying to get in touch with you today. Anyway, it's all good. So apparently Lisa has not gotten a link. So I'm going to send her the link here. Hold on. Copy the link. Go to Facebook. Yeehaw. And because apparently the way I sent it to her did not work. Amy, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're going to be talking about, as you know, I've already threw this at you, so you're already fully aware. We're going to talk about marriage and how to have a good, healthy, happy marriage. And what are some of the tips that, for instance, my good friend, there she is. She found it. She found the link. She of little face. She said, send me the link. You better know I sent you the link already.
Well, you usually send it on Messenger, so I didn't check my
email. To both. Oh, I did send it to both. So the Messenger one, maybe sometimes that people don't get that one. I don't know.
Okay.
But here's Amy. I wasn't sure she would join us because I haven't been able to get hold of her. Everything okay, Amy?
Yeah, good.
Okay, well, I was worried you had like a family disaster or something like that. You were trying to mitigate.
We were just having dinner.
Ah, gotcha.
Boyfriend.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
With their matching sweaters?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Is he new matching sweaters, or has he been getting her some? No, he hasn't done that. Okay. That'd be kind of cool, though, if he gave it for all the Christmas days up to Christmas, gave her a matching sweater.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Of course, he'd have to have money to do that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to put that on a teenager. Anyway.
They're really young, yeah.
Yeah. Lisa, how are you, darling?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well. I'm very well. Thank you very much. I've
You
got
looked good in your Santa suit the other day.
Oh, hello. Shh. I am Santa. There's no Santa suit. That is exactly me.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Anyway, so I just read a couple of these. I don't know if you were watching while you were trying to sign in.
No, I wasn't. I was trying to sign in.
I was just telling Amy, and I was telling the other people who have joined us. 45 longtime couples share the marriage tip that's kept them together. That's from goodhousekeeping.com. And the first couple that I read, you guys, and maybe we can just kind of say something quick about each one, because each one of them are I went through the list. I didn't get to all 45, but I read quite a few of them, and I couldn't disagree with any of them. I mean, all of them were really great. So
Yeah, I thought they were too.
yeah, you sent them to me. So let's talk about them. Okay. The first one was say these 3 words every day. They're not "I love you." Mike and Colleen Dollar have been married for 14 years in LaGrange, Georgia, and they said that the 3 words are "Can I help?" It's so simple, but often people assume that their spouse will automatically know what they need. You have to say it.
Right.
It's hard to feel resentful towards one another if you start the conversation with those words. Can I help? Elaborate for me on that, Miss Lisa.
Yeah. Well, I don't think a lot of people say that. I really don't. But it's really nice if you have somebody, doing something, you have somebody there and it's like, hey, can I help you with that? And it's, even if you don't want the person's help, just the fact that they offered is really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of people do that in relationships. I don't know.
Do you guys do that, Amy?
Do I do that?
Do you? Does Galen?
I do. Not as much. Well, it's different in how we were raised. My parents were more of a collaborative couple where they shared things. My dad did the lawn mowing usually, but they kind of shared things. Where Galen grew up, it was much more clearly defined men's roles and women's roles, and you didn't help the other person with their responsibilities. So it's taken a while to get him to think about it differently, and now he's good. But
right.
it takes a while. It takes a while.
You trained him well.
I did.
Oh, as far as I'm concerned, I don't always say, "Can I help?" But my wife knows that she can say to me, "I need you to do this," and I'll get up and right away and do it. And I know that's maybe not the optimal way to do it, but I also don't get up disgruntledly like, "Oh, geez, why do I have to do that now? And that can be done later." Rah, rah, rah. I know that, on her clock, "Can you do this?" means now. She doesn't say the now part, but that's what she means. She doesn't mean, "Can you just do this when you get a chance?" And even if she says it that way, it still means now. So, and I've learned that, and the dogs are away. Anyway, it's fine. I don't care, Amy. You can let them bark away. It sounds like more than one, though, Amy. You have more than one?
I have 3.
I did not know that. I only ever hear one. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's one of the things is I don't try not to be disgruntled, or I try and do what I'm asked to do as soon as I'm asked. And if I see her doing something, except for like the dailies that she does all the time, I don't really get involved and ask if I can help with that, even though I do sometimes, like cooking dinner. I'll say, "Honey, is there anything I can do to help get dinner on the table?" Yeah. Well, and then of course she'll say something along the lines of, make the table, dress the table and, or set the table, I guess is the way we say it. And, and that's something that I can do easily. I usually have my medicine and all that crap is at my place at the table. That needs to be cleaned off the table. It's not so much that we need, because she usually makes the plates and hands them out to people. But yeah, no, I always mess up my end of the thing. So yeah, can I help? We do that. Lisa, did you do that in your marriage?
You're breaking up just a little bit, so I'm having a hard time hearing you. But I just think it's nicer when somebody help you rather than having to ask somebody to help you.
Sure. I think that's absolutely the case. And I know my wife gets a little perturbed when she has to ask me to do stuff, and I appreciate that that's something that she doesn't like to do.
You never like to ask somebody for help. It's always better if they offer. So that's just one of the tips that I really liked. That was one of my favorite ones that I think most people do not do. And I haven't been in a relationship with anybody that really did that consistently. So
Well, one of the things, moving on from that, one of the things that I found that I think is important in a relationship is that you have your own doing. What you're doing is you have your own hobbies, you have your own alone time that you need, and there you have to be an individual in the marriage. And I think that's so important, because if you become codependent on each other, and then it's just not a good ride, And I just think that if you do that, then it's a ride. Lisa will come back in a minute. I guess something's breaking up. Am I breaking up with you, Amy?
No, you're just fine.
Okay, so I think her connection and mine's.
I have a question for you, Lee, about can I help? Do you have a hard time accepting help? So if somebody offers you help, do you have a hard time accepting it, or do you feel like, oh, I want to do this, I want to take care of this myself?
It depends on who's offering the help.
Okay.
Lisa, she just asked me if I have a hard time accepting help from people. And I don't think I do so much. Does Galen have a hard time asking for help? Is that why you're asking me?
Sometimes a hard time accepting help.
Mm-hmm.
Help doesn't mean you think they're doing it wrong. It just means you want to help. But
right.
Sometimes it interprets the kind of help you with that as, okay, what am I not doing right?
Right. Well, I think that goes through my mind. Someone asks, "Can I help you do that?" And it's like, why? Why are we doing that? I mean, aren't I not doing it right? I'll ask that question. Why am I not doing it right? And then her answer is, no, I'm just offering to help. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little pride thing us guys have. I think that we think if someone's offering to help them, we must not be doing something right. I don't know. That's what I think. So back to the next question. The next one was, have your own hobbies. And John Holman and Tess, married 22 years and live in Minneapolis. They've discovered it's important to have independent hobbies and freedom to do them without pressure or guilt from your spouse. I think that's really key, actually. Lisa's not having a good connection time tonight. But I think that's really key for people. I saw you nodding your head when I first heard the thing. And I'm sure if you got to go do something for whatever, you don't get the third degree. Where are you going? Who are you going to see? All that kind of stuff. I got to go do something, That's to me, Mary's very good about that. I'm pretty good about it. I mean, I asked where she's going. She'll ask where I'm going. But I believe that if I said nowhere, I'm just going for a drive. It's fine with her. She just likes to know, is there something I need to be aware of that you're going to, that whatever.
Right. It's more just a respect of sharing information. It's not an inquisition or a questioning of what somebody else is doing. It's more of a, just so you know where they are. If you need to reach them, know what they're doing. Yeah.
Right.
I totally agree.
And that goes with both of us. I mean, when Mary's leaving, she'll tell me, I'm going into the store and I'm doing this. And then when I go somewhere, I'm going to see my girlfriend. No, I'm kidding. No, I say, I just tell her where I'm headed. I'm heading to the office. I don't really go where much of any place because of this whole bull crap going on. But
yeah, that's true.
That's one of the things later was date night. I'm like going, okay, where are you doing date night? And that's obviously an issue or something. It's very important, but it's something you do when you don't have a pandemic and a worldwide pandemic going on.
Do you do date night with your beautiful wife?
We used to all the time. We used to do it for sure. Before we had children. We tried to continue doing it while we had a baby. And of course, because when we had the baby, grandparents loved to come take care of the baby. That was absolutely number one on their list. We're talking about date night, Lisa, and how it's kind of not it's not really apropos for the pandemic season that we're in. But you could still go for a drive. I try to do that. I try and do stuff with her, Mary. And like when she's going to go to the store, I'll go to the store with you. Is that okay? She's like, sure. And we have old enough kids, they can take care of themselves. We don't have
It's
to.
not really date night, though.
No, it's not. But we
store.
have time together. We can't really
Yeah.
go on date night though right now because I am I'm very I'm one of those people that's immunocompromised. So I really can't go sit in a restaurant. And the fact that they have these tents, which is just a room on the outside of the restaurant, and I'm not afraid of those, especially in like off hours. But like if they're packed, I'm gonna have to pass. You know what I mean? That's just something for me. But if there's only a couple people there and we can sit far enough away from somebody, then I don't have any problem going out and trying to find somewhere to eat. But we haven't so much. Mary works hard during the day as a teacher. This whole virtual thing stinks. And it's a lot of hard work on her part being a special ed teacher. And so at the end of the day, she's pretty tuckered out, and yes, we want to keep date night sacred. However, she's tired. She'd rather our date night be me sitting with her on the couch watching Law and Order. And so we do that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I guess everybody has their definition of what date night is, but I think it's important to go out and do things together, to go into public and do like what you did when you were first met, when you were first dating. You're going out and, you're holding hands and you're spending time together and you're just focused on each other. It's not like every other night of the week when we sit on the couch and watch TV together. It's actually something that that it gets us away from the kids in the house and all the everyday stuff, and you're in a different environment. You get dressed up, you look nice for each other, because if you don't go out anywhere, you're usually just sitting around the house wearing your house attire, and so it's nice to go and get dressed up for each other, put on a nice outfit or some makeup and look a little different and get out of that situation. And I think it helps to rebuild that kind of romantic feeling that a lot of people, after you've been married for a really long time, it kind of goes away.
Right.
And if you want to rekindle that, then I would say, put on a nice dress and some makeup and some high heels and a nice dress shirt for you, and go somewhere different, away from the house, away from the sofa and the kids and the dogs or whatever, and go back to kind of the way you were when you were first met, when you were first dating each other and you were trying to impress each other. And I think it really is important to help bring back that romance that sometimes people lose over time.
Yeah, I want to know, Amy and Galen, you and Galen do a date night?
We really don't. We'll go out we're in the same boat. Our kids are old enough that they can be left alone now. So we'll go out and grab dinner, but we don't really call it date night. It's just, let's go grab dinner. The kids don't want to eat what we want to eat, so we're just leave them alone and go to a restaurant we like. So, but we don't usually do the dress up thing, and we probably should.
Every now and again. I don't know if you have to do I don't know if you have to do a fancy. I think a fancy date night is a good idea, but that's more of a once a month or so, where you get on your suit and you want to look nice when you go out, period. But but I'm talking about the getting all suited up and tie on and look, not necessarily a tie, but
It's good to see somebody, because you get used to seeing each other day in and day out, and you're always wearing the same things and whatever. And it's amazing, how I can just go in the other room and put on some nice dress and come back out, and it's like, wow, I'm a whole different person. I don't look like the same person that was, wearing a ponytail and yoga pants and a t-shirt all week. You know what I mean?
I've never seen that. I want to see that one day. Okay, I come in with a ponytail.
And so it kind of like if you're getting to a point where you're losing some of the romance in your relationship, it might be something you want to consider. And women, oftentimes, they feel better about themselves if they're all dressed up and whatever. That gives them a little more confidence, and that can sometimes make women be more romantic towards you. So if you guys are in that spot where you're not really looking at each other and thinking, well, you're hot, maybe it's a good idea to just play like first date, play like we just met on a dating site and we're going to go out and we're going to try to look the best we can to try to impress this person. And it adds a little bit of something, get you out of the boredom thing. you know. And I always enjoyed date night when I was married and things like that. It was really good. So yeah.
Well, Steve Day, we want to say hi to Steve Day.
Hi, Steve.
Also, Tour Arsala. He said no sound, but I hope that the sound is there now. I'm sure it is. That was at 7:04, and I did not have my sound on at first. But I think everybody else is on. Steve Day said he said hi to Miss Beautiful Lisa, and then we get a hello everyone, Amy. Just that. Yeah, there's the beautiful Miss Lisa. Hello everyone. And then of course Steve also says the spark that you enjoyed in the beginning. And Bubba Almany, our bodyguard buddy, he's wishing us a blessed night. So let's get to. We talked about this earlier. Well, this includes you too, Lisa, because you do have grown children, and we don't have grown children, but they're getting there. Don't let kids turn you against each other. Now, David and Paul and Cindy. David and Cindy Paul, there you go. Married 22 years in Vegas. Now that's where I would like to be living for date night every week. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Our kids learned a long time ago to go to the other parent and do the old, well, she said it's okay, or he said it's okay, and I would say, oh, really? And that's one of the beautiful things about texting too. I just text my wife real quick. Did you say it's okay for so and so? You know, I hadn't even talked to her. So, and then it gets down to a whole nother subject when you find out your kid's trying to fib on you. Then there's a whole nother situation. So, but anyway, what about you, Amy? Have you ever had the kids pull that with you?
All the time. All the time. It's pretty consistent. Yeah. I have. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that. Very sneaky.
See, you're lucky, Lisa. They can't pull that on you.
No, there's only one, and that's just me, and so
That's
they can't turn anybody against anybody.
Hey, Mom. Yeah. No, you have no one to say yay or nay for you, pal.
Well,
anyway.
They would say, well, so and so's mother or father does this and lets them do that. So, and I'm like, well, go live with them, then. I mean, if that's
My mom hated Joel Bender's mom because I used to always say, well, Joel's mom. And they didn't, honest to God, my mom did have a little bit of disdain for her, even though they didn't really know each other that well. I mean, she was always like, Joel's mom, used to drive her crazy.
But yeah, I think in a marriage, you kind of have to agree on the rules and not let the kids kind of turn you against each other. You kind of agree that this is what we're going to let them do, and this is, and come to some agreement rather than having the kid be playing the different side and causing you to fight.
Right, and that's the other thing too. I'll tell the kids sometimes when they come and tell me, "Hey, can I go to do this or whatever?" Or "Can you take me?" Now that's a new way. Now it's, "Can you take me somewhere?" And I'm like, "Is that okay with your mom?" "Oh yeah." Well, have her call me or text me because she's usually downstairs teaching or whatever. If she texts me and says it's okay, then it's okay with me. Then I learned that what Mom agreed to is okay is not. So Mary and I have discussed that, and she texts me what's okay. I just want to, that's okay with me, because God knows what the heck my 15-year-old trickster is trying to pull off. So she's a smart kid. She knows how to play that game. So, but she's not as smart as us, right? Anyway. There's something here about finding a way to split chores. I don't agree with that at all. I'm just kidding. No. Household work is a hot button issue for many couples. They decided to figure out the day-to-day tasks and absolutely hates to do and swap them. If your spouse does the chore that makes you complete pile of misery, you'll appreciate it and him. I guess Angie's the one writing this. So Angie and Eric Whitehead are married 21 years in Baltimore, Maryland. What about that, Lisa? What do you think do you think that's because now I know Amy grew up or her husband grew up in a very different atmosphere as far as home chores and things like that. But I would suggest that while my parents did not, my dad did big time. And so he still to this day, he forgets to get up, although he's much better at it, but he doesn't think to get up and do the dishes after we eat. So mom makes the dinner, and my sister, however, is she's the mad scientist, and she's like, Dad, why don't you get up and do the dishes? That kind of stuff. And he's like, but he does it, and he's learned that, oh yeah, I guess I should, and doesn't think about it. But if no one says anything, he'll sit there. My mom will do it, and then she'll get a little pissy, and that kind of thing happens. So,
so what I hear a lot from men is, women are so unpredictable. They just stop loving you one day. It's just like one day they're done with you and they just leave you. And I've heard men say this a lot. And what it is there's resentment that builds up just because I always do the dishes, or I always do this, or I always do that, and I don't ask for help. That resentment builds up. People don't just up and leave you one day out of the blue. So a lot of these guys are kind of baffled, like, I can't believe, I came home and my house was empty. I didn't know there was anything going on, because a lot of times people don't tell you, that this is not right, but they know it in their head. They don't speak it. They don't want to fight about it. They don't want to argue about it, but they build resentment for a long time, and it brews. And finally the woman's like, you know what, I've had enough, and I'm out, and I'm leaving, or, whatever. And the guy's shocked. He thinks it came out of left field, when really that resentment had been building for a really long time. And she was waiting for him to say, hey, can I help you? Or, this and that. And he never did. And she got tired of being, basically a slave to somebody that didn't have any interest in, what she was going through or anything like that. So I do hear it a lot, especially men are like, I don't know why all of a sudden, she just didn't love me anymore. And I always try to explain to them there was probably some things that were going on there that was building resentment for a long, long time. And which leads on to one of the other things was communication. So I think it's important that, if you are feeling some resentment because there's not equal distribution of chores or whatever you're feeling resentment about, you need to talk about it. Because guys don't tend to pick that up just instinctively. They're not mind readers, and when you come home one day and you're like, you know what, I'm done, I'm out, I'm sick of it, this is the last day that I'm going to sit here and work for 3 hours while you sit on your butt and do nothing. And they're going to be like, whoa, you're in a bad mood. Well, what happened to you today? And I'm like, it's not about today. It's, it's been going on for 5 or 10 years. And you never asked me about it. You never offered to help me. And now it's too late. Now I hate your guts and I'm leaving. And you might just have figured it out when I left, when you heard the door slam, but it's been brewing for a long time. And so, that is one of the things that for women in particular, they start to build that resentment over a long period of time. And so that is something that guys need to be aware of in relationships. And also, of course, communicating that, finding out, is she resenting me for that? Instead of just sitting there thinking, well, I'm glad she's in there scrubbing the kitchen for 4 hours because I get to watch the game and this is awesome. My marriage is great. And she's in there thinking, I can't wait till I leave this guy, And so you need to be aware that just because you think everything is okay and it's all working out in your favor, it may not in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, communication is absolutely the key. I will suggest to stick up for men here that there are many times when women have no clue that there's resentment that their husband has too. And then it comes down to who has the right to be resentful and who does. And that's where a lot of arguments come up, where somebody goes, you find out that your spouse is resenting you because you haven't been doing something. And then, of course, you bring up something that you resent them for. And then there's a battle of whose resentment, is more important.
But what difference does it make who has a right to be angry or not? If the marriage doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. You have a right to be angry or you have a right to not be angry or whatever. What matters is that the relationship's not working.
Right. And that's
you can have a right to be angry all you. Yeah.
The resentment builds because of the lack of communication. You know, there's no one talking about, hey, man, you hurt my feelings here. I'm scrubbing the floors. Do you think I like doing that? You know, and a communication has to start before it becomes a blow up and everybody says they hate each other and you roll out. I mean,
do you think that if you're sitting there watching a football game and she's scrubbing toilets, that's what she wants? Do you think that that's what she wants?
I can tell you this, there's been this issue where I very rarely watch sports, but like for when I do though, if it's the Washington football team, I try to watch the game. I don't often get a chance to. And if I don't, it's not that big a deal to me. But when I get going on something, I do like to watch it. And she's very good about letting me do that. But I've told her I don't want her doing anything either. She needs to do something for herself when I'm doing something for myself. Because if she's in there on the floor, scrubbing the floor, I can't watch the football game. You know, I got to turn it off and say, what else can we do? You know, let's do something else. That's making me feel like I'm being a jerk for sitting on the couch, watching the football game when she's in there scrubbing. So I would suggest the woman don't scrub the floors while he's watching football. But if it's okay, if he's watching football all the time, then there's got to be another piece of communication has to happen. I think that's what it comes down to.
I mean, you can see why it would, you would resent somebody for that. I mean, if she had you working all day and she was just sitting there watching the, movies and saying, hey, you missed a spot over here and over there, you're going to start to feel some resentment, and that would be normal and natural. So rather than sitting there saying, well, I got it made, I got this person doing everything for me, you need to think they're building some resentment, and there's going to be, at some point, there's going to be some repercussions.
Sure.
Yeah.
And again, communication, that's a real key.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, I DJ a lot of weddings, and I used to. I haven't done it in a while, but I used to DJ a lot of weddings. And I used to always had meetings with the couple ahead of time to discuss what kind of music they wanted and stuff, and what kind of different events they wanted to have during the reception and stuff. And I'll tell you, listen, I used to say to them, listen, if you don't mind, I've been married for a little bit. I'd love to give you a piece of advice. And they're like, of course, they never say no. They've listened to me. And I say, and my biggest piece of advice that I try to follow as closely as I can is I wake up every morning and remind myself and what is it? Promise. I choose every morning to love my wife. And because that's what love is, that's what hate is. It's a choice you make. And if you hate somebody, you've chosen to hate them. If you love somebody, you've chosen to love them. You know, some people have that just in awe of someone and love them because they love them. I get that. And that's usually, I would suggest to you, the early stages of marriage. Because, but if you keep reminding yourself that you love that person and you want to love them, then it makes a big difference in the marriage and how everything goes, I think. And I think both Mary and I have discussed that with Mary before. I'm sure there's been many times where she didn't want to admit that she loved me. But I try to do that as much as I can.
Well, and the other thing is, sometimes somebody will offer to do something, but they'll be like, what's in it for me?
Right.
You know, and that is, that expectation that I'm going to do this, but then you owe me.
Right.
You know, you should do things because you love the person, not because, well, this is a exchange of goods and services here, you know. So never say what's in it for me. Now, I've been in relationships with people that have done that, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit, because my answer is always going to be nothing. There's nothing in it for you. So you should do it because you love and care for the person, because you genuinely want to do it. And so, yeah.
I think so too. What about you, Amy? You're being quiet over there. What about you, Ellen, and what's your experience been?
I'm just kind of listening and thinking through everything.
And what do you agree or disagree with what you've been hearing?
I agree. I agree with everything I'm hearing from all sides. It's really hard to find that perfect balance. And I think people who try to manufacture that balance are the ones who end up in trouble, where they, like Lisa was saying, it's kind of like this, I'll do this, but you have to do that. There's this expectation in return. It's more of a transactional as opposed to just, I'm a good person, or I like you. I want to do this for you. I want to take care of you. I want to help you. I want to be there for you. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong with the checklist type of relationships of, there's no adjustment. There's no just natural alignment to each other. You're just saying, okay, I'm going to do this, or the expectation that everything is like, one-to-one at all times. Like if you do this, then I have to do that. And I think that, then you're like, you're keeping score. And I think nothing ever goes well once you start keeping score.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's always resentment there. I mean, there are times where you're a human being. There's going to be something that you expected to get done that didn't get done, or, a message that you were trying to send that didn't get heard. There's always going to be that where things just don't connect. I don't know if it's the Mars-Venus concept or exactly what it is, but there's always times that, I've been married 31 years. I can guarantee you there've been a whole lot of times where I think he's crazy. I don't know what the hell he's thinking. Whatever gave you that idea. What?
Vice versa.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I know there are times when he just looks at me and thinks, what the heck?
You know what, Lisa, Amy, I'm going to say that's the face I saw when he was standing up with your daughter with all the Christmas crap. He's up there going, she's a nut, trying to get me to, where she wants me to put stuff. But he's doing it, because he loved you. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Just don't keep score.
Yeah. I got a song.
Never be perfectly balanced.
I got a song I want to play for you guys. It's one of my favorite songs. Oops, hold on. Damn it. Sorry, I didn't put the volume up. Can you hear?
It's about to get real, baby. I know what love means to you. The party is through. It's just me and you. Everyone has left our home. Girl, we're finally alone. Wave goodbye to the guests. You know what's next. I understand. We'll light your fire. We've been married 20 years. I know what you want, my dear. I'll go get the vacuum and take it from here. I clean up for you like you want me to. See, turn off all the lights. It'll be alright. Lock the doors for you. Sweep the floor for you. And I'll put down the kids so you don't have to. Baby, slip into what you want. Put your baggy sweatpants on. Your favorite ones with an Italian stain down the front. Go watch some Apple TV. Parks and Rec. All down 10 and yeah. Like you want to. Gonna turn off all the lights. And I'll be alright. Lock the doors for you. Check the bathroom too. And I'll put down the seat so you don't fall through. Baby. Hey, thank you, California. You did amazing.
That is one of my favorite comedians of all time. He does a lot of songs, and that's a great. I'll clean up for you to the. I'll still whatever the song is. Anyway, I'll make love to you. That's the song by Boyz II Men that he does. I'll clean up for you. So that's so great, and I'm like, I want men to hear that and go, you know what, guys? That's the kind of song you need to sing after that party. You need to say, Go put on those baggy, stained sweatpants and just chill out in back in our bedroom, and I'm gonna clean everything up. Don't worry about it. You know, you do that a couple times, you become the best husband that ever lived.
Oh yeah, then you're king of the castle for sure. You know, you can have anything you want then. So yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty funny guy, and he does a lot of stuff. Like he does one song that's the things you don't say to your wife. And anyway, just hilarious. Or wedding songs that you shouldn't have as wedding songs, and he sings the songs. You know, like the different songs that should not be wedding songs. Anyway, he's a funny guy. Tim Hawkins is his name. Go look him up on YouTube. He's got lots of stuff out there. He's a Christian comedian, which he always says, "What the hell is that? I'm a comedian. I happen to be Christian, but I don't know what a Christian comedian." Anyway, so he's funny. So I don't know why I just said it, but that's kind of well, I guess I said it because I want you to know there's nothing dirty about his comedy at all. It's very straight and very cool. And you know, the kind of guy he is his kids are now almost all of them have left off for college. And so he has taken a break from comedy so he can spend time with his wife and travel with her. So it just kind of shows you the guy kind of knows what he's doing, you know, as far as being married. He's got like 5 kids and you know, of course he worked the whole time, and I think that might have been a trick so he didn't have to be home all the time with the 5 kids. But he was bringing in money. Obviously, that's a big issue to make sure your family's taken care of, and that's what he was doing. But now that he doesn't have to have all that, he can spend time with his wife, and that's what he's decided to do, at least here in the right now kind of thing. So I think that's kind of cool. But I don't know why we got to him. But we were talking about marriage, and he seems to have a good one going. What are some of the other things that we were discussing that people say are important? I might skip some of these. Do you know any of them that really made you think, Lisa?
Yeah, never use the word divorce or breakup, even jokingly.
Yes,
words. But a lot of people will do this in an argument. You know, they'll say, well, you know, if that's the way you feel, then, you know, maybe we should just break up. Maybe we should just get a divorce. And what that is that's an emotional blackmail. That's somebody that doesn't want to negotiate and solve the problem. What they want to do is threaten you with leaving the relationship so that they can get what they want. And I do see that as it's a manipulation tactic, and it doesn't work out well. A normal person, if they want to stay in the relationship, they're not going to use divorce or breakup as a threat to get what they want. But I do see that a lot.
Here's the one of them. Don't ask what's in it for me.
Yeah.
You were just talking about that, Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the threats with a divorce and breakup to get your way, don't do that. If you're doing that, or the person you're with is doing that, there's major problems, because it's really blackmail. You know, you're really, you know, you're taking something that it's an argument, you should be able to resolve it, you should be able to come to an agreement and whatever, and you're turning it and saying, well, if I don't get my way, you know, then I'm just going to leave. And how's that? How do you like that? Is that what you want? So, I mean, it's really, and I do see people doing that a lot, and I hate it. That's my big pet peeve with relationships.
Yeah. Here's another one that's on here that I found was interesting. Do whatever it takes to keep the lines of communication open. This is Clint and Michelle Larson. They've been married 26 years in Parker, Colorado. When talking doesn't work, send them an email, a text, or even a letter. Talk to me about that, Lisa. I mean, I know texting, actually, Mary and I do it because she's downstairs working. I don't want to interrupt her and go down there and talk to her because she's really into whatever she's doing. I mean, I know when she's teaching, she has to stay focused. So, but I can drop her a text, and when she gets a chance, she'll look down at it and she'll respond and reply to me about anything.
Yeah, I think what they were talking about in that case was when you're having a discussion and you're not getting anywhere and you don't feel like you're being heard or understood and you're getting frustrated and it's starting to escalate a little bit and you're talking over each other or, you know, getting angry and saying things that are nasty or mean. Sometimes it's better to go into separate rooms and text or email or something like that, just to kind of de-escalate the situation and to make sure that the other person is actually seeing what you're trying to say and seeing your
Right.
point of view.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand that. But I was just kind of mentioning the fact that, as far as leaving lines of communication open, there's lots of ways to do that. And I understand that probably the instance in there was if you've got a problem to resolve and you can't do it face to face because you all start talking about somebody's aunt who's a piece of work at Thanksgiving and, that kind of stuff. Then the best thing to do might be not to do it face to face, just to send them a note. I know my dad, it's really funny that you mentioned that in relationships. My dad has written me a couple letters because it's a man thing, I guess. He doesn't want to tell me how much he loves me and cares about me and all that stuff because I don't know why, but it's not something we do face to face.
Unmanly.
Right, I guess. But he's written me a couple of very sweet letters that made me feel so good about being his son, and everything. And I walk up and, like, when he's sitting at the chair, I'll walk up and give him a hug from behind and kiss him on his bald head like mine and tell him I love him. And he'll say, in that instance, it's like, yeah, I love you too, man. You know that, that kind of stuff. But as far as, yeah, exactly. So, but that's been a couple of times. And I think not just resolving an issue, but a nice little letter or card sent to your spouse is also something that works. I think, right, ladies? I'm gonna tell you, if you got a nice card from your boyfriend or spouse, right? Wouldn't that kind of, that kind of thing? I know I used to write Mary poetry all the time, and I still do occasionally when we have I'll get the card and I'll just write something cheesy, but she likes cheesy, she knows I mean it from my heart, even if it's a little cheesy. But what's not cheesy about a marriage anyway? And it's a cute way to be cheesy. Like if your husband played a song for you on a ukulele or on his, what does he play? Trombone?
My husband?
Yeah.
Trumpet.
Okay. So, I don't know if he's ever played you, serenaded you with his trumpet or not, but I think that'd be kind of cool if I knew how to play trumpet. I don't think she wants to hear a serenade on drums. Yeah. So anyway,
you never know.
Huh?
You never know.
I know. Well, I kind of do. Never ask what's in it for me. If talking doesn't work, text.
Okay. So the other thing with texting is, how when people argue, sometimes people will start bringing up things from the past. So they get off of the issue and they'll be like, yeah, but remember that time 5 years ago and you did this and that and this and so you kind of lose, and then if you lose the whole point of what you were trying to resolve. And so at that point, it might be a good time to say, okay, we're not going to argue about everything I've done wrong my whole life. I'm going to step back and I'm going to write an email and it's going to be on topic. Because sometimes if somebody knows they're wrong, they'll start trying to defend themselves by saying, but you did this, and this, and they're trying to avoid accountability for what they messed up with.
Sure.
So that's a good time to switch to email or text message because you can get on topic and not have to listen to everything you've done wrong your whole life.
But be very careful what you put in an email or a text because those things last forever. And your spouse might just go, oh, really? Yeah. Oh, really? Okay, hold on. Okay, you remember when you said, and my God, I'm done.
Well, and the other thing is, don't ever text or write anything that you wouldn't want to have to be heard in court.
Because it will come up in court if that's.
It will come up in court. So never text or email anything that you wouldn't mind somebody bringing it up in court.
Your Honor, can you believe that this is one of the things he texted me was,
I mean, I'm no lawyer, but that's my legal advice.
I'm agree.
That's very good legal advice.
That's mine too. Yeah. Never write what you, have rules for fighting. Okay. I'm glad we got to this, and maybe this is the last one we'll do here. The reason I say that is because we don't necessarily have rules for fighting, but I don't know that I've ever had a fight with my wife. And I don't mean fists but I mean an argument, like pissy argument. I mean, I've never had one of those with my wife. We just know that we need to separate and chill, before we come back and discuss what the issue was that got either one of us almost to the point where we were going to start yelling. And I mean, because that's happened, but we don't get to the point of yelling. We somehow have always been able, whether that's a God thing or not, been able to say, all right, let's just hold up right here before it gets too crazy, and we'll come back at this later, and one of the other of us will bring that up. And, so I don't know about Amy, how do you approach that? Have you and Galen ever had like a screaming fight about something?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it's so weird because my mom and dad didn't either. And so I guess I get that from that. My wife's parents didn't, and that's because whatever her dad said was gospel, and his wife just went, okay. I mean, there was never any argument there either. But my house, there weren't arguments because of that. There were arguments because, I mean, they both really cared about each other. And my sister and I neither one of us can recall them. We've heard disagreements on stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But never like, are you out of your mind? That kind of, mm-hmm. Never heard that in our house growing up. And my kids will tell you, their mom and dad, we've had a private discussions of things that were emotional and stuff, but nothing crazy. So anyway, where did Lisa go? So talk to me, Amy, about that as far as that's concerned. How did that work out when you did and all that?
Yeah, I mean, we have fights, but we don't hold grudges, if that makes sense. We both have, we're very passionate and opinionated about things. And, it's not that we don't, eventually find a happy middle ground, but we both, will stand our ground. And particularly, but we don't fight about, like petty things. If we do disagree about something, it's something that's important. Like, how to do something with the kids, should they be allowed to do this or do that? We don't just fight for the sake of fighting over minuscule. We're not, not nitpicky kind of people, but, we have had passionate conversations about things that are really important. And, I'm okay with that. But like I said, we don't hold grudges. We get it out and say our piece and move on.
Yeah. I mean, there's been times when Mary will say something that I don't agree with. And I might say, I don't agree with that. And we'll discuss it but I don't let it get, because I'm going to tell you right now, my wife's very emotional. And I'm sure, I know I am too, but I don't like to get fired up. It makes me feel bad. And so I would rather come at it another time, or just let it go. Sometimes it's just letting it go. Okay, well, that's how you feel. Good. I'm glad to hear it. And I will try my best to respect that. I've found myself doing that before. Because I don't want to discuss it anymore, because I know I'm going to win and she's going to feel bad. No, I'm kidding. But no, look at Lisa's being all serious. Yeah, but that's I don't know if that's the reason why I don't fight with her about it. I just let her think she knows what she's talking about. And but I say that in my head right now, and I don't know if that's exactly how it goes, but I don't know. I don't think that's a bad thing to do. I don't know.
My connection's real.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, we're done. We've done an hour and we've been doing this, and I think we can address this next week and do some more. So I will get together and talk about this next week. Amy, you up for it?
Sure thing.
Okay. Well, Lisa's having some connectivity problems. There she is. So Lisa, we're going to wrap the show up, and I think we can discuss some more of these things. More of these items from that article next week. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right. Both you lovely ladies, I love you very much. And I'm glad that we're doing this together. And I think so far people have really enjoyed themselves. Here's a couple more comments. Hold on. They are from, there's Billy Riley. He says he's fired up listening to us. He loves to get fired up. Anyway, then Steve Day had a mention, you do it because you want to help and see your partner genuinely happy. All right. There you go. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching the show today. Lisa, again, thank you. Amy, so much for jumping in here with us on Wednesday nights. I think it's going to be kind of a regular thing. So put it on your calendar, kiddo. And we'll make sure that it happens. All right, take care. Answer that phone, Amy.